First at 10, shutdown showdown from the Oval Office.
President Trump makes his case to the nation.
Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now.
The president went on to declare this a, quote, humanitarian crisis.
And he's now calling on Democrats to return to the White House to meet with him.
He claims immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally are behind a spike in crimes and drug crimes around the country.
Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border. More Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War.
The president took aim at politicians who he claims have done nothing but allow more innocent people to be victimized. He made mention of a police officer in California who was recently attacked by someone who came across the border. The presidential address concluded with this message to Congress.
Pass a bill that ends this crisis. To every citizen, call Congress and tell them to finally, after all of these decades, secure our border. This is a choice between right and wrong.
House Democrats have passed a plan to reopen the government without funding the border wall. At this point, the Senate has declined to take it up.
And here at home, people are reacting to the president's address and say they are not getting any answers. 7 Action News reporter Alan Campbell is live at Leo's Coney Island in Roseville, where eyes were glued to the TV screens there. Alan.
Well, Glenda, a lot of folks I spoke with tonight say they expected and wanted the president to talk about the government shutdown, not just funding for the border wall and border security.
I think this is not the way to get the answer to what he wants.
We're now more than 2 weeks in the partial government shutdown.
He looks at things on a different way, I think, than most Americans or most people do. He looks at things as a businessman and not necessarily as a president for the people.
President Trump hitting the airwaves during prime time to address the American people about border security.
Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now. This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul.
Folks say they're concerned about border security and want the president to have a solid plan moving forward, something that works for everyone.
We do have to stop this, influxuation of, immigrants just coming into the country, that needs to stop.
It appears this stalemate is far from over. Now all we can do is watch and hope an agreement can be reached by both parties.
We need to be careful on who comes in and who, and who's out. I definitely agree with that, but I don't think building a wall is going to be the answer.
I think that they need to have a compromise between the Democrats and the Republicans. They need to sit down and, come to some type of agreement.
And again, a lot of the folks who I spoke with tonight say they expect and they want both parties in government to sit down, come to an agreement for the good of our country. Reporting live tonight in Roseville, I'm Alan Campbell, Action News.